Okay, what's up, guys? We are now live on YouTube, and today I'm joined here by a good what should we call you, Leon? A good accomplice, colleague, friend, all of the above, right?
Let's call it cousin. Let's go with cousin.
Brother from another mother. So
That'll
basically,
do.
guys, Leon is joining us today, as you can see by the title, to talk about alcohol and how alcohol can have such a massive impact on the success of entrepreneurs and business people, and particularly people who want to work for themselves, right? Because it's all about motivation. So that's really the topic of today. And we're going to spend a little bit of time getting to know Leon because he's an expat himself. Whereabouts are you currently living, Leon?
Yeah, I live in Chiang Mai, northern Thailand.
Currently in Chiang Mai, northern Thailand. So that's all well and good. So you are an expat as well. So it'll be really cool to hear your kind of story, because I know you kind of had some troubles with obviously alcohol previously in your life. So obviously we want to find out a little bit more about you and your background, find out a little bit about your story, what led you to Chiang Mai in Thailand, and a little bit about your kind of business experience as well. So let's kind of just dive in right at the beginning, Leon. Tell us a little bit about right at the beginning, to give us kind of like your background story. Where are you from? How did life look? Particularly when you were kind of having trouble with drinking ultimately. So yeah, if you want to give us a little bit of an intro to you, man, and kind of start at the beginning, we're going to be dying to know how you've cut out alcohol, how you help other people cut out alcohol. And yeah, let's start there, man.
Sure. So it's pretty much like my entire adult life was like this roller coaster. It's the best way to describe it. It was up and down. And it always seemed to be that alcohol was the factor that was creating these peaks and troughs. So there were times when, I was drinking, but life was going well. And then there'd be times that I would be, not waking up, being hungover, and just kind of at the, in a bad place. But my peaks and troughs were pretty extreme. So I've been in some pretty dark places before, and it took me a very long time to kind of find a solution to the problem. So, I tried AA, I tried using willpower to stop. I tried telling myself that, I could just have one. I tried telling myself that I could, go back to moderation. And for me, alcohol just took me to a bad place. And it was, it was very quickly that I realized that I drink more than a regular person typically drinks. Like I don't really have one or two. I would get smashed. And then all the problems that come with getting smashed, I'm sure you can imagine what they're like. But everything from like my body fat would increase, my muscles would deteriorate. I couldn't focus on work. Any idea, like any business idea that I ever had, just got smashed back down. It would be like always taking, in every area of life, from like relationships to career to business to whatever it was always 2 steps forward and 1 step back. So I always knew that it was the one thing that if I got rid of that, like the life of my dreams would be possible. Like all the things that I ever wanted to do in my life would be possible, but it was always alcohol that got in the way of what I really wanted to achieve. So, it took me such a long time of like trial and error to figure out like how to crack the code, I guess you'd say, and just like enjoy this life where I look at alcohol and see it for what it is. Like I don't see it I used to see it as this thing that would actually provide a benefit in my life. It would provide all this value. It would, help me be more charismatic, more conversational, more confident. And it would also, help me with making friends and getting a girlfriend and meeting girls and doing all this stuff. And I had this idea that alcohol was somehow going to be like a bridge to this great life that I wanted, but it was never the case. All this stuff that I thought that I knew about alcohol, I started to realize that I was completely wrong about all of it. And it's what I call reframing the way that you view alcohol. So I just basically went deep into all of the literature. I looked at all of the marketing, and I tried to look at alcohol really objectively. And then one day it was like a light bulb switch. And whereas I've been battling with like this, you could call it an addiction or a problem or whatever you want to call it. I've been battling for so long. And then one day it was like this switch where I was just like, it's done. Like I'm just so certain that I will never drink again. Like I don't want to drink anymore. And yeah, from there, like, I don't know, it's just been a great ride, and I'm loving all of it.
Yeah, good, man. Good. So let's just go kind of right back to the beginning. So your addiction problem with alcohol, how old were you when you started noticing that, you know, maybe there was something that isn't quite as normal as it is for other people?
Yeah, good question. I think that's a good question. So pretty much started drinking, you know, as a teenager, like most teenagers do. And at first it wasn't a problem. And it rarely is a problem at the beginning of any kind of thing like this. For most people that drink, it isn't a problem. But I quickly realized, like, you know, I don't have a pause button. I do probably drink more than I should do 99% of the time. And I was about 22 or 23 actually when I first went to AA, because I've got family members that are in AA. So I went that route because I didn't know how to solve this problem. I was just like, you know, I'll do anything because I just wanted to get rid of it. And you know, like I said, I wanted that life that I wanted. And I went to AA, but I got told all this stuff like, you know, I'm an alcoholic, I'm powerless over this drug, I'm doomed forever, I've got this disease forever. And at first I went along with it, and I stopped drinking for about 100 days. And you know, I really bought into this idea that there's something wrong with me. That's why I can't stop drinking. And you know, I like I said, in that reframing process, I started to like objectively look at these things like, am I really an alcoholic? Do I have something wrong with me? Or did I just get addicted to a drug? And I now see it for what it is. It's like, there was never anything wrong with me in the first place. Like I tried these things like AA. So yeah, it was probably like 22, 23. I'm 28 now. And, you know, but I probably realized it even before that, probably like in my 19, 20, where I was like probably drinking a bit more than my friends. But it wasn't like I was waking up and drinking a bottle of whiskey in the morning. You know, people think that, oh, you need to, if you've got a drinking problem, you need to be waking up and having vodka on your cornflakes. And it's just not really the case. Like alcohol can still have a real bad impact in your life, even if you don't go through the stereotypical idea of what you think like somebody that has a drinking problem really does.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I completely cut like alcohol out fully quite a few years ago now. I can't remember exactly how many, but that's had a massive impact naturally on kind of my success and business success as well. So like for you, how has you know, noticing that you had a problem with alcohol, doing something about it, should we talk about what you did about it now? Yeah. So you noticed you had a problem. Then what happened? How did you overcome that problem?
So the first thing that I did is I did what most people say that you should do. So it's you reason by analogy. So you say, okay, I've got a drinking problem. What can I do about it? So you start asking your friends, you start asking people, you get told to try AA, and then you get told by your friends, you know, oh, maybe you just need to use more willpower. Maybe you need to exercise will. So I would try to use willpower. I would try and say, okay, I'm going to take a 30-day break. I'd get to day 14 and I'd drink again. And then I'd start to say, well, then I'd ask another friend, okay, well, why don't you try just to moderate it? Okay, yeah, I'll try 1 or 2. So I have 1 or 2 here, 1 or 2 there. And then 1 week later, I'd be going out all weekend getting smashed. So I basically at first tried what everybody else told me that I should do. And that was kind of like my mistake, because as we know, 90% of people drink alcohol and 90% of people think that alcohol actually gives them something. They think that there's a benefit to it. So I'm asking all these people, how do I stop drinking? And I'm getting all of this mismatch of information, and none of it kind of gave me what I wanted, even though I tried everything, right? And the only thing that got me to stop was when I used this mental model called first principles thinking. And that's when I started to like objectively look at all of these things, like all of these marketing messages, all of this. Essentially, it's like brainwashing. We've been brainwashed to believe that drinking ethanol, which is this fancy marketed poison, and it is nothing more and nothing less. I started to like objectively look at that and say, well, why is this happening? Why do I keep doing it? And it's like I said, once I'd kind of broken down all of the reasons why I think that I drink alcohol, it was done. Like just from that point, it was like this hammer was dropped, and I just knew that I could move on with my life. And all of those mistakes that I made, all of that BS that had happened in the past, it was done. It was finished. So it was going through that mental model, that first principles mental model, that it just changed everything. And because I thought that, like I said, I was told I had a problem. I was told I was weak-willed. And when I objectively looked at it, and it was just like a light bulb moment. It was just like an epiphany. It was like a rush of endorphins where I was like, I've done it. I've beaten it. Like it's done.
What else had you tried? Because you told me that you tried quite a few things before. So like you came across this first principles model, right? And that's done the job for you. But like, what else did you try? And why didn't it work? What was that like?
So like I said at first, I tried going to AA, had a bit of success with it. And then there was actually a point where I was at university, and just to kind of like go to the point of the story is I was working in a city, and I went out one night, and I got completely blackout drunk, right? Like so drunk, just like completely stupid. And I ended up being sick on a computer. I had a MacBook Pro, and I threw up over it when I was asleep. I don't even remember doing it. And I woke up in the morning, and I'm like, just like feeling so bad. And I looked at this computer, and it was like this brown blood all over it, right? And it was like this brown sick, which I later Googled to find out it was blood. And in that moment, I said, I'm going to stop drinking. And I just used willpower, like nothing else. It was like this 9-month period where I just said, right, screw this. Like, I'm just going to stop willy-nilly. And I remember writing a few things like why I want to stop drinking. And, the willpower, it really, really worked. There was like this 9-month period where I built a personal training business. I was making like, it would be like close to 6 figures US dollars, not in British pounds, but US dollars. And I was killing it, and everything was going well. I had a girlfriend again. I had a car. I was living in Oxford. I was finishing my last year of university, and I used nothing but willpower during that time. But the problem with using willpower is that there was one day where the willpower just completely ran out. Like I went to this New Year's Eve party, and everything was going well. My life, I just felt like I was actually doing well for the first time because I wasn't drinking, so everything was naturally going better. And then there was this little voice in my head in this New Year's Eve party where it's like, things are going well now, Leon. You could just have a 1 or 2. You could go back to having some, moderating again. Just having a bit. Why don't you just drink tonight and then go back to your normal life? And sadly, the willpower ran out. I ended up drinking and then just essentially destroyed everything that I built whilst sober. Like I destroyed my personal training business, just like disintegrated. I just threw it away. I was like, I'm going to go and live in London. I'm going to be a big shot in London. The real reason why I wanted to go to London is because I knew that I could drink and not, feel, because I was like even smoking cigarettes again. It all just gone to, everything just went backwards. I'd like built myself up here, said I could moderate, and then everything just went boom. And I'm not joking you, it just went to ground zero.
It's a slippery slope as well, isn't it, man? Like I know I've been in similar situations, especially around Christmas and New Year, and with that kind of coming up and with everything that's going on in the world, I felt this was a really relevant topic to bring you on and talk about, because I know there will be people who struggle with the same thing and who kind of feel like maybe they don't have like a major problem with alcohol, but it certainly gets in the way of like their success in business and in entrepreneurship. And that's kind of what I want to focus on now as well. Like once you stop drinking, okay, the first time and also the second time as well, or this time, the final time, how did that cutting out alcohol positively impact your life and your business and your entrepreneurial journey? Like how did cutting it out have an impact? Tell me what happened. How did you feel and what's happened since then?
Sure. So at the end of that spree that I was talking about then, so there was like this I don't know, it was about 9 months where I just destroyed everything. It got to a point where I was like minus £2,000 in the bank, living at my friend's place, and I was at the bottom. And it was during that time when I felt just like, I'm done. That's where I started doing the research, looking at all this stuff, reading all these books, watching all these videos, trying to figure things out. And that's when the light bulb moment happened. And within, like, all of a sudden, I got this feeling of confidence again. I can't describe the confidence. It was like, I just felt good about myself because I hadn't been feeling good about myself because, you're doing something destructive that's not contributing to your goals in any way. I don't care what anybody says. It does nothing to add any value to your life. That had gone. So I'm not even joking you, within a week, I had no money, minus money in the bank, and I went straight back to the gym, self-employed as a personal trainer again. And because I had that confidence, because I had that courage and all these natural, innate abilities that I had were returned, boom, straight back into self-employment, straight back to selling on the gym floor, getting clients. Within 12 weeks, I was like full-time again. And basically like the entrepreneurial journey has kind of stacked on from there. So it started off with personal training. And then that's when I realized, I could do anything. Like I really felt like invincible. Now I'd beaten alcohol. Now it was gone. I knew that whatever I really set my mind to, I could achieve anything. And that's when, I moved to Asia. So it gave me the confidence. It gave me the clarity. It gave me the courage. It gave me my self-esteem. And it kind of, everything was there before like all those abilities were within me. all it took was me to remove alcohol to just like unleash it.
Yeah, and how did that tie in with moving out to Thailand, to Chiang Mai then?
Sure. So there was
that part of the story, please, man. I'd love to know how you what inspired you to move out there.
Yeah, sure. We've been talking for quite a while, but I've never really shared this with you, so that'll be cool. So yeah, so I'd got to this point. I was in the gym. I had the confidence to come back. I was like feeling really good about myself, and I'd always had this dream to move to Asia and work online, to start some kind of digital business, to do something along those lines. I didn't know what it was going to be. Actually, the very first thing that I did was I just did fitness coaching online. I tried that because I was like, I'm going to try anything. I'm just going to go for it. So I booked the flight to Thailand. And because I had the confidence, I just said, I'll figure it out when I get there. I don't care. I'll figure it out. It's probably like, less than $1,000 a month to live there comfortably. And I had a few grand in the bank and I was like, I'll figure it out. So I started doing the online fitness coaching and I realized that actually I know nothing about digital marketing. I thought I knew everything, but clearly I didn't. And then I started doing some freelance work. I was doing some blog writing, and then I joined this other company and started doing their video marketing. And the founder of this company is a fantastic entrepreneur, very, very knowledgeable about audience building, about content marketing, real good guy. And I joined his team and did their YouTube channel for them. So this was where I kind of like got this really good skill. And we built this channel. It's now generated like 4 million views, 35,000 subscribers. I still work on it, but there's a team of people now. And this kind of kickstarted me into this new paradigm, this new worldview that entrepreneurship is a possibility, making money online is a possibility, and there's a system to follow, right? And all I did was kind of replicate somebody else's success. So I like the things that I learned working with this guy, transferred it into my own YouTube channel, and now it's kind of just like gone from there. And it was like this foundation of having this really good skill. But I had, like I said, because I'd stopped drinking, I had the confidence to try this. I had the courage to put myself out online. I wasn't really worried about what people thought of me. And obviously, the when I stopped drinking, I had this work ethic, and I was just like, I'm going to make something of myself now. And man, we made so many videos. We did there was 1 month I went to Bali to go and work with the founder. We made 40 videos in a month. We just smashed them out. We just couldn't stop. And I was extremely motivated because it was like this whole new worldview of digital entrepreneurship, travel, and all of this stuff that I was living it. And I'm getting goosebumps telling you now, because for so long that was what I wanted. It was what I wanted for such a long time. And it just happened, and I was like, fuck, and I was getting paid well from this guy, and yeah, that was kind of like the start.
Yeah, that's cool. By the way, I think you're the first person that I've interviewed on what I call Transformation Tuesdays that I do for like our clients who isn't a client of mine. So if anybody's watching this as well, thinking, well, why haven't I seen Leon in and around the Facebook group or the community or anything? Leon has forged his own path in his own way. And I think it's super cool and interesting to hear how he's gone about and done that. So right now, what are you currently working on? What do you currently do? What's your bread and butter? And how's it relevant to quitting drinking alcohol?
Sure. So basically, I was working on the YouTube channel for this company, and I was in Chiang Mai, and I met this guy. I don't know whether I won't say his name, but he's a big YouTuber, 700,000 subscribers, absolutely killing it, making loads of money. And I met this guy, and he was basically giving me a bit of mentorship, telling me about how to grow this other channel that I'm working on. And we ended up gelling really well. And there was a point where he was like, dude, you need to start your own channel. You can't keep doing this. All this time that you're spending on that channel is time that you could be using on your own channel. Just post something. And at the time, I think he owed me $200. And I said, right, don't pay me that money back until I posted 3 YouTube videos. And he's like, all right. I didn't know what I was going to make a video about. And I was like, and I looked at this app I had on my phone, and I looked, and it was, I've not drank for a year. So I said, okay, right, press record, 1 take, made a video. I quit drinking for 1 year, my experience. Posted it, boom, 6,000 views overnight. And I was like, what? And then
really?
Yeah. It went viral.
Video.
No. I'd been doing YouTube for months before that. But
right.
Been doing all sorts of crap. I'd started, I don't know, 5 years ago, but never took it seriously. But because I'd kind of learned the skills from this other channel that I run, I realized how to make content that would get a reaction. And it was the first video I posted about alcohol. But there were other videos I'd been posting, but it was this one about alcohol that just went. And and then from there it's kind of just like grown from there. Like I started posting some Facebook groups, and started to realize that I've actually got something that so many people want. There are so many people that want to get rid of alcohol and do something good with their life. So all I kind of do now is I coach other people. I have like this first principle system, the exact system that I followed. I just put it into a step-by-step program for other people to follow. And yeah, like I have like a coaching business now. So I'll do some coaching calls with people. And man, it's the most incredible thing ever. Like these people are people that have drank for like 20, 30 years. And they start working with me and they've never stopped drinking before. Like these are people that have tried AA, they've tried willpower. And man, it's I love it. It's so fun. It's so fun.
Massive. So tell us a little bit about some of your kind of client transformations. Like what kind of an impact are you having on the clients' lives that you're working with? And how does their life look after alcohol as well? Tell us some success story examples.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. There's a whole spectrum of people that I work with. So some people are, they drink, they've obviously got a drinking problem, but they might be younger. They might be like 28, 29, 30, that kind of age. And they know that alcohol is blocking them from certain things. So there's one guy that I work with, he's starting up a business, and very like myself, he knew that alcohol was the one thing that was stopping him from working on this business. And we started working together. He's not drank now. Oh, it must be coming up to about 10 weeks or something like that. And he's now just working on his business. He's focusing on his business. He's able to kind of see things clearer, come up with ideas. But then on the other end of the spectrum, there are like, older people that I work with that are like 40 to 50. They've tried AA for years, and alcohol is like having bigger impacts on them. So it's stopping them from being able to show up for their family the way they want to show up for their family. It's stopping them from focusing, like really taking a business to the next level, or it might be hurting their health. So there's like, I basically work with people on two different ends of the spectrum, either young people that are kind of like, they know that alcohol is stopping them from achieving this potential, but then the system that I've developed works well for people that have drank for 20, 30, 40 years, because the system to stop is the same. You see alcohol for what it is. You remove the conditioning, all the nonsense, all of the things that you think you know. And that light bulb switch happens, and then these people just not drinking anymore. They just don't want to drink. And it's really cool to see. Like sometimes I don't like sometimes there's days where I think, oh, it's not going that well. This entrepreneurship is a grind. It's hard starting a business, and some thoughts of self-doubt creep in. But then all I actually do is I look at my list of reviews and the testimonials, and I actually go back and watch them, and I read them, and I read the messages that I've got from people, and it fills me up with like this feeling of like, no, this is the real deal. This is happening right now, and these people's lives are changing.
Massive. And congratulations to obviously yourself and anybody else who you also helped to stop drinking. It's a great offer. So where do you think you'd be? I've got two kind of final questions for you, really. Where do you think you'd be if you didn't stop drinking when you did?
It's a great question. Probably still working in a restaurant, possibly even having to go back to my parents' house. I don't know what typically happens when I drink is things don't go forwards. They either stay completely stagnant or they go backwards. So I was working in a restaurant. It was just over 2 years ago. I was working in this restaurant with no money in the bank. So I would either still be in that restaurant, still stuck in the cycle that I wanted to break out of, or then if things obviously progressively got worse, then who knows? Like, I don't even want to go there. I might be living with my parents right now. And
yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
Like, you certainly wouldn't be in Chiang Mai living the life that you live in with a YouTube channel, coaching clients, helping people, change their lives, right? Would you say that that's all a result of you drawing a line and saying, I'm not drinking alcohol anymore?
This is why I have so much conviction when I get somebody that's interested in the service. Like they are not getting off that phone until they understand that if they stop drinking, the life of their dreams is really possible. Yeah. So it was the one thing that stopped me. It's not like that for everybody. For a lot of people, there's going to be a different vice. There's going to be something else that's kind of might even be their own mindset. But for me, I just knew that alcohol, if I could get rid of that, then everything else was possible from that point onwards.
Massive. We've had a couple of people like commenting, saying that alcohol has had an impact on their life as well. So for those people who are watching, and who, it's not an easy subject to talk about, right? So I'm not expecting everybody to come out and be like, yeah, I've got a drinking problem and I could quit. So I get that. But what advice would you have for those people? Let's say like 3. I don't know whether you've got any like tips on how to stop drinking, or how to at least manage it, or how to even tell whether you've actually got, maybe a hidden drinking problem to some degree that's maybe, causing more problems than what you kind of hope. So what are kind of your top 3 pieces of advice to people who maybe think that maybe alcohol's getting in the way, but struggle to take control of it? What would you say to those people?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing that you would want to do if you were kind of on the fence about thinking, okay, is this actually something that's causing me problems, is stopping me from reaching any kind of potential, is just to stop drinking it. 30, 60, 90 days, something like that. And what you can do is you can either see if your life progresses faster, better as a result of not drinking, but then you can also see the other side of it, which is, okay, if I don't drink alcohol, am I struggling? Is it difficult? Is it challenging? Am I craving it? Are my friends texting me and I'm saying no to them and I'm feeling like I'm missing out on something? And you can start to see kind of like what your own mindset is around it. Because what we'll find is that whilst most people don't think they have a problem, they still think that alcohol gives them something. So even these people that take these 30, 60, 90-day breaks, it can be torturous, right? And I would say that if it is a completely torturous process for you and you go through this 60 days and all you want to do is drink and you're craving it and you're feeling, oh, all I want to do is drink, then yeah, you would want to find a system. You would want to find somebody that's got a replicable system, somebody that's kind of, I'm not saying that these people should hire me, by the way, because some people it's just not for everybody, right? But I would do if it was me starting again, is I would go online and I would find somebody that has done what I want to do. So I would just find somebody that has got the result that I want, and I would pay them. I would just say, right, show me how you have done it, and if they've got a system, I would just follow that system. And the trick is it's got to be a system. Like there are spiritual people there are some people that have spiritual programs to stop drinking. I don't think that stopping drinking is a spiritual program. It is necessary to have a spiritual program to stop drinking. It needs to be a logical system that reframes the way that you view alcohol, so you see it for what it is. So you don't see it as something that's going to provide value to you. You see it as a poison that does nothing for you.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do.
Yeah. So you kind of you need to be aware that you've kind of got a problem in the first place, which I guess is where a lot of people, struggle with it. It's kind of like you brush it under the carpet. You have a few beers on a night, or, you go out 2 or 3 nights over the weekend. And it's actually really quite a socially like accepted thing now, right? That everybody's just like, oh, well, that's just what you do. Or that's just what, that's just what people do. Where I like completely agree. I don't think that's the best way to kind of optimize your life and optimize your energy. I don't condone drinking, by the way. People drink, you do it in moderation, enjoy yourself, do what you want at the end of the day. But again, like the proof is in the pudding, right? Leon's sitting where he is because he drew the line and stopped drinking one day. Now making 5 figures a month, living in Chiang Mai, doing what he wants, changing people's lives, right? And myself, I completely cut out drinking again several years ago, and that has by far been the biggest catalyst to progressing in life, right? And not just in business, but personal life as well. So if there's anybody watching this, like, I think that's kind of our message for today is like, if you can moderate it and you don't have a problem with it, that's completely cool. But I know for a fact there's a lot of people out there who do have a problem that maybe they're not wanting to admit to. And if that's you, that's completely cool. You're not alone. We've been there. And lots of people go through it as well. But I think realizing that maybe it is a problem, maybe it is holding you back, is step 1. Step 2, finding somebody with a system who can actually help you cut it out of your life, should that be necessary. Step number 2, and then step number 3, reaping the in my own words, reaping the benefit of having a completely sober life. The amount of times that I personally wasted being hungover when I was obviously a bit younger. You add all of that time up, Oh, imagine what you could do with that time. So anyway, man, Leon, do you want to just give us a little bit of just to kind of finish off, a little bit of summary on your YouTube channel to see if anybody wants to go follow you on YouTube, if they've got, you know, any kind of thoughts that maybe you do have a bit of a challenge with alcohol. Do you want to just give us a quick intro to your YouTube channel and tell us where you can where people can go to find that?
Yeah, sure. So the YouTube channel is filled with logical content that helps you go through that reframing process. So I've got so many free videos, you know, hours and hours and hours of content that is a mix of kind of like inspiration and motivation, but also that is that logical reframing and understanding alcohol for what it is. So there's tons of free videos. The channel is the name's a bit cringe, but it's Sober Leon. You know, it's got to be a little bit topical, right? And then also the website is, and like the company name, the coaching company name is soberclear.com. And there's a bunch of like blogs on there, and there's a few videos and information about coaching and all that stuff on the website.
Yeah, man. Thanks for jumping on as a guest and sharing your story of success, ultimately, from quitting drinking alcohol, maximizing energy, maximizing efficiency, productivity, and all the best in your coaching business as well. And enjoy Chiang Mai, man.
All right, James. All right, thanks a lot. And
cool. No worries.
In a bit.
Peace out, man. Speak to you soon.